Good day everyone. I'm Michael. And I'm using a text-to-speech program to have a more clear speech and audio. Looping statements execute the sequence of statements many times until the stated condition becomes false. A loop in programming consists of two parts, a body of a loop and a control statement. The control statement is a combination of some conditions that direct the body of the loop to execute until the specified condition becomes false. The purpose of the loop is to repeat the same code a number of times. The while loop loops through a block of code as long as a specified condition is true. The while loop starts with the while keyword, and it must include a Boolean condition expression inside the brackets that returns either true or false. It executes the code block until specified conditional expression returns false. Here is an example program using while loop that prints 0 to 3. This block of code will be repeatedly read, as long as I is less than 3. Let's simulate the sequence of code. If we run the program, it will read line 3, where we initialize the variable I. Then go to line 4. In this line, we check the condition if true or false. The condition is I less than 3, this will return a value of true since I is equal to 0. Since it's true, it will read this block of code, which is the body of a loop. The first statement inside this loop will print the value of I, which is currently 0. Then increment 1 to I, so it's now equal to 1. Then it will go back to check the condition. The condition is I, which is now 1, less than 3 will still return a value of true. So we need to execute again this block of code. This statement will print the value of I, which is 1. Then increment the value of I, so it's now equal to 2. Then it will go back to check the condition again. The condition is I, which is now 2, less than 3 will still return a value of true. So we need to execute again this block of code. This statement will print the value of I, which is 2. Then add 1 to the variable I. So I, it's now equal to 3. Then it will go back to check the condition again. The condition is I, which is now 3, less than 3. This time, the condition will return a value of false and exit the loop. Because 3 is not less than 3, they are equal. The last statement of the program is to print a string literal end loop. So that's how the while loop works. Note, make sure that the conditional expression evaluates to false or exit from the while loop on some condition to avoid an infinite loop. The following loop is missing an appropriate condition or break the loop, which makes it an infinite while loop. C# allows while loops inside another while loop or other types of loops. However, it is not recommended to use a nested while loop because it makes it hard to debug and maintain. Let's simulate the sequence of this code. First is to initialize the variable I to 0 and declare the variable j. Then check the condition if true or false. The condition asks if I is less than 2. If false, exit the loop, otherwise, read the body of the loop. The condition will return true since the value of I is equal to 0. And 0 is less than 2. The first statement in the body of the loop is to increment 1 to the variable I. I is now equal to 1. Next is set the variable j to 0. Then, next is another while loop. This will be the inner loop. First is to check the condition if true or false. The condition is j less than 2, where j is equal to 0. And the statement is true. So we need to read the loop's body. The first statement is to print a string literal, which is j equal, plus the variable j, which is currently 0. So this will print j equal to 0. Then increment 1 to variable j. That makes the value of j now equal to 1. Then ask again if j, which is now equal to 1, is less than 2. Which is true. So it will read again the body of the loop. Variable j is now equal to 1. So this will print j equal to 1. Increment 1 to variable j now is equal to 2. Then ask again if j, which is now equal to 2, is less than 2. Which is false. The inner loop now will exit and read the next statement. The next statement is to go back again to this condition, which is the outer loop. The statement is asking if I, which is now equal to 1, is less than 2. So this will still return a value of true and read again the body of the loop. We then again add 1 to the variable I. This line will set the value of j equal to 0. Remember that the last value of the variable j is 2. Due to the increment happening inside this inner loop. This inner loop will just do what it does in the first iteration of the outer loop, which print j equal to 0 and j equal to 1. At this point, the condition will be false, and we'll read the next statement. After reading the inner loop, back again to the outer loop, and ask if I, which is now 2, is less than 2, which is false. This will exit the loop and read the next statement. The last statement will print a string literal end loop. So that's how nested while loop works. For our self-check, what will be the output of the following program? You can comment your answer down below. That's all for this video lesson. If you have questions, suggestions, something to add, or you think something is missing or incorrect to the lesson, please let me know. Again, this is Michael, thank you and see you at my next video lesson. Keep safe everyone.